That morning coffee you're drinking on an empty stomach, it might be quietly destroying your gut lining. Every year after 60, your digestive system becomes more vulnerable to acid damage, and that beloved morning ritual could be triggering inflammation you mistake for normal aging. Today, I'm revealing 4 morning drinks that may be harming your gut health after 60, and 4 traditional Japanese drinks that support digestion, reduce bloating, and help you feel decades younger. By the end, you'll have a simple 7-day plan to transform your mornings and your gut. I'm Dr. Rento, and I help older adults navigate nutrition science without the confusion. What you're about to learn is based on current research about aging digestion and traditional practices from blue zone populations. This information is for general wellness only and does not replace medical advice. If you have digestive conditions, take medications, or are under medical care, please consult your healthcare provider before changing your morning routine. Quick question: what's the first thing you drink each morning? Coffee? Juice? Water? And have you noticed any bloating, reflux, or digestive discomfort in the hour afterward? Drop a comment below. I read and respond to every single one. Most of us learned that starting the day with coffee or orange juice is perfectly normal. But after 60, that morning habit may be working against you. Here's why. As we age, our stomach lining produces less protective mucus, our digestive enzymes decline by up to 30%, and our gut barrier becomes more permeable. When you drink acidic or sugary beverages on an empty stomach, you're essentially battering an already vulnerable system. Take Frank, 68, who had chronic reflux and bloating for 3 years. He tried every medication his doctor suggested, but when we examined his morning routine, we found he was drinking 2 cups of black coffee before eating anything solid. Within 14 days of switching to a gentler morning drink and delaying his coffee, his reflux disappeared and he stopped taking antacids entirely. The lesson isn't to fear your morning drink. It's to understand what your aging gut needs and time things smarter. What worked at 40 may be damaging at 65, and small adjustments can bring profound relief. Number 4. Black coffee on an empty stomach. Most of us think coffee is just a harmless pick-me-up, maybe even good for longevity. And in moderation, coffee does have benefits. But after 60, drinking black coffee first thing on an empty stomach can create a cascade of gut problems that mimic other aging symptoms. Here's the mechanism. Coffee is highly acidic, with a pH around 4.85 to 5.10. When you drink it on an empty stomach, it stimulates gastric acid production dramatically, sometimes tripling acid levels within minutes. In younger people, a thick mucus layer protects the stomach lining from this acid surge, but after 60, that mucus layer thins significantly. Studies suggest mucus production can decline by 25 to 40% as we age, leaving your stomach wall exposed. The result? Inflammation, microerosions, and eventually symptoms like burning, reflux, bloating, and even nutrient malabsorption. Coffee also triggers the release of cortisol, your stress hormone. Cortisol is naturally highest in the morning, and adding coffee on an empty stomach can spike it even further. Elevated cortisol affects gut motility, weakens gut barrier integrity, and has been linked to increased intestinal permeability, often called leaky gut. For seniors, this can mean undigested food particles and bacteria crossing into the bloodstream, triggering systemic inflammation and fatigue you might blame on aging. Consider Linda, 71, a lifelong coffee lover. She'd start every day with a large black coffee at 6 a.m. and wouldn't eat until 9 or 10. By mid-morning, she'd feel nauseous and bloated. By afternoon, she had chronic fatigue. She assumed it was just getting older. When she delayed her coffee until after a small breakfast, just some oatmeal and banana, her bloating vanished within 5 days, and her energy returned within 2 weeks. Here's the swap. If you love coffee, don't quit entirely. Instead, eat something first. Even a small portion of oatmeal, a banana, or a handful of nuts creates a protective buffer. Wait 30 to 60 minutes after waking to drink coffee, so your cortisol spike settles naturally. Limit yourself to 1 cup before noon, and consider adding a splash of milk or plant-based cream to reduce acidity. If you take medications for blood pressure, osteoporosis, or thyroid function, check with your doctor. Coffee can interfere with absorption, and if you think coffee is concerning, the next one might be in your fridge right now, labeled as a health drink. Number 3. Store-bought orange juice. Most of us grew up thinking orange juice is the epitome of a healthy breakfast. Vitamin C, bright and refreshing. What could go wrong? But after 60, that morning glass of OJ may be one of the worst things you can do for your gut and blood sugar stability. Here's what's happening. Commercial orange juice, even the 100% pure kind, is extremely high in rapidly absorbed sugars, around 21 to 24 grams per 8-ounce glass, roughly the same as a soda. Without fiber to slow absorption, that sugar hits your bloodstream fast, spiking blood glucose and insulin. For seniors, especially those with prediabetes or insulin resistance, this morning spike can set off a roller coaster of cravings, energy crashes, and fat storage throughout the day, but the gut damage goes deeper. Orange juice is highly acidic, with the pH around 3.3 to 4.2. On an empty stomach, this acidity can irritate the stomach lining, especially in seniors with reduced mucus protection. The combination of acid and sugar also feeds harmful bacteria and yeast like Candida, which thrive in sugary environments. Over time, this can lead to dysbiosis, an imbalance in your gut bacteria that's been linked to bloating, brain fog, joint pain, and weakened immunity. There's also the issue of oxalates. Oranges contain moderate levels of oxalates, compounds that can bind to minerals like calcium and may contribute to kidney stones or joint inflammation in susceptible individuals. After 60, kidney function declines and oxalate clearance slows, making daily orange juice potentially problematic for some seniors. Take Marianne, 74, who drank a large glass of orange juice every morning for decades. She developed chronic bloating, frequent heartburn, and her fasting blood sugar crept into the pre-diabetic range. Her doctor suggested cutting sugar, but she thought juice was healthy. When she replaced the OJ with diluted green tea and ate a whole orange later in the day instead, her bloating resolved within a week, and her fasting glucose dropped 18 points in 6 weeks. Here's the actionable swap. If you love citrus, eat a whole orange or half a grapefruit instead. The fiber slows sugar absorption and supports gut health. If you want liquid, try diluting fresh lemon juice in warm water, about half a lemon in 8 ounces of water, which is less acidic and supports gentle detoxification. Drink it 20 to 30 minutes before eating. Avoid store-bought juices entirely, even the no-sugar-added versions. And if you take medications for cholesterol, blood pressure, or blood thinners, check with your doctor. Grapefruit and some citrus can interact with medications. The second culprit hides behind a wellness label and is one almost every health-conscious senior has tried. Number 2. Cold-pressed green juice on an empty stomach. Green juice has become the poster child for health and detox culture. Kale, spinach, celery, cucumber. It sounds like pure nutrition. And yes, these vegetables are packed with vitamins and antioxidants. But after 60, drinking cold-pressed green juice first thing in the morning can shock your digestive system and trigger problems you'd never expect. Here's the mechanism. Most green juices are extremely high in insoluble fiber residue and concentrated plant compounds like oxalates and goitrogens. Oxalates, found heavily in spinach and kale, can bind to calcium and other minerals, forming crystals that may contribute to kidney stones and joint inflammation. Seniors naturally have slower kidney clearance, so daily oxalate overload can accumulate. Goitrogens, found in cruciferous vegetables, can interfere with thyroid function if consumed in large amounts, especially raw. But the bigger issue is temperature and digestion. In traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic practices, cold foods and drinks are believed to weaken digestive fire, and modern research supports this idea. Cold liquids can slow gastric emptying and reduce enzyme activity. After 60, your digestive enzymes are already declining, and hitting your system with ice-cold, fibrous juice can lead to bloating, cramping, and poor nutrient absorption. Green juices also lack protein and fat, so they don't stabilize blood sugar. Drinking them alone can cause a quick energy spike followed by a crash, leaving you irritable and hungry within an hour. The high potassium content in greens can also be problematic for seniors with kidney disease or those on certain blood pressure medications. Meet Robert, 77, who started drinking cold green juice every morning after his daughter bought him a juicer. Within 3 weeks, he developed painful bloating. His joints ached more than usual, and he felt cold and fatigued. His doctor ran tests and found elevated oxalate levels. When he stopped the juice and switched to a warm miso soup with vegetables, his bloating disappeared in 5 days, and his joint pain eased significantly within 3 weeks. Here's the swap. If you love greens, eat them cooked or lightly steamed, which reduces oxalates and makes nutrients more bioavailable. If you want a morning drink, try warm vegetable broth or a light miso soup with seaweed and tofu. If you must have juice, limit it to 3 times per week. Drink it at room temperature. Add healthy fat like avocado or nut butter to slow absorption, and rotate your greens to avoid oxalate buildup. Drink plenty of water throughout the day. And if you have thyroid issues, kidney disease, or take blood thinners, talk with your doctor. Raw greens and high vitamin K can interact with medications. But that's nothing compared to what's coming up next. 1. Diet soda or artificially sweetened drinks. This one surprises most people. Diet soda is marketed as a zero-calorie, guilt-free alternative to regular soda. No sugar, no calories. What could go wrong? But after 60, drinking artificially sweetened beverages in the morning may be the single worst thing you can do for your gut microbiome and metabolic health. Here's the mechanism. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, saccharin, and acesulfame pass through the stomach and into the intestines largely undigested. Once there, they interact with your gut bacteria. Research has shown that artificial sweeteners can significantly alter the composition of gut microbiota, reducing beneficial bacteria like bifidobacterium and lactobacillus while promoting harmful strains. This dysbiosis has been linked to glucose intolerance, insulin resistance, inflammation, and even weight gain. The very things diet soda is supposed to prevent. A landmark study found that people who consumed artificial sweeteners had poorer blood sugar control than those who consumed sugar. The mechanism appears to involve gut bacteria changes that impair glucose metabolism. For seniors who already face declining insulin sensitivity and increased diabetes risk, this is particularly concerning. Diet sodas are also extremely acidic, some with a pH as low as 2.5, which can erode tooth enamel and irritate the stomach lining. The carbonation can cause bloating and gas, especially in older adults with slower digestion. Additionally, artificial sweeteners may increase sugar cravings by confusing your brain's reward pathways, making it harder to control appetite throughout the day. There's also emerging evidence that artificial sweeteners may affect bone health. Some research suggests that phosphoric acid in diet sodas can interfere with calcium absorption and contribute to lower bone density, a serious concern for seniors at risk for osteoporosis. Consider Susan, 69, who switched to diet soda years ago to manage her weight. She'd drink 2 cans every morning. Despite eating carefully, she couldn't lose weight, had constant bloating, and her blood sugar remained elevated. When she eliminated diet soda and switched to herbal tea and water with lemon, she lost 11 pounds in 8 weeks without changing her diet otherwise. Her bloating disappeared, and her fasting glucose improved. Here's the swap. Eliminate all artificially sweetened drinks. If you want fizz, try plain sparkling water with a squeeze of fresh lemon or lime or kombucha in moderation. If you want sweetness, use a tiny amount of raw honey or stevia leaf extract, but wean yourself off sweet tastes in the morning entirely if possible. Train your palate to appreciate plain water, herbal tea, or bone broth. If you're addicted to soda, reduce gradually. Cut by 1 can per week until you're free. And if you take diabetes medications, monitor your blood sugar closely as you make changes and notify your doctor. Now that you know what to rethink, let's talk about the morning drinks that can actually heal your gut, reduce inflammation, and support healthy aging. These are beverages that Japanese seniors, who have some of the longest, healthiest lifespans on Earth, have been using for generations. And the best part? They're simple, affordable, and you can start tomorrow. Number 4. Warm water with umeboshi, pickled plum. Most of us have never heard of umeboshi, but in Japan, these tangy, salty pickled plums are a staple in traditional breakfasts, especially for older adults. And after 60, umeboshi water might be one of the gentlest, most effective ways to wake up your digestive system. Here's why it works. Umeboshi is made from ume plums that are pickled with salt and shiso leaves, then aged. Despite tasting sour, umeboshi is alkalizing once metabolized, meaning it can help balance stomach acid and reduce inflammation. It's rich in organic acids like citric acid, which stimulate digestive enzyme production and support liver detoxification. For seniors with low stomach acid, a common issue after 60, umeboshi gently encourages acid production in a balanced way, unlike coffee, which overstimulates. Umeboshi is also a natural source of probiotics due to the fermentation process, supporting beneficial gut bacteria. It contains antioxidants like polyphenols, which have been linked to reduced inflammation and improved cardiovascular health. The salt content provides electrolytes, which many seniors are deficient in, especially if they take diuretics. And the sour taste itself stimulates saliva and digestive juices, preparing your gut for the day ahead. There's also a cultural element. In Japan, umeboshi is traditionally used to settle the stomach, ease nausea, and support recovery from fatigue. Elderly Japanese people often eat a small umeboshi plum with rice porridge for breakfast, and studies have shown that Japanese centenarians frequently include fermented foods like umeboshi in their daily diets. Meet Keiko, 82, a Japanese woman who moved to the United States at 70. She noticed her digestion worsened after adopting American breakfast habits, coffee and toast. She felt bloated, sluggish, and had frequent heartburn. When she returned to her traditional morning ritual of warm water with one umeboshi plum, her bloating disappeared within 3 days. Her heartburn stopped, and her energy stabilized throughout the day. Here's how to use it. Purchase umeboshi plums or umeboshi paste from a Japanese grocery store or online. Each morning, place one small plum or half a teaspoon of paste in 8 to 10 ounces of warm, not boiling, water. Let it sit for a minute. Stir gently and sip slowly over 10 to 15 minutes. Start your day with this before eating anything else. Wait 20 to 30 minutes before eating breakfast. If the taste is too intense at first, start with a quarter teaspoon of paste and gradually increase. You should notice improved digestion, less bloating, and more stable energy within 1 week. Some people report clearer skin and reduced joint stiffness within 3 to 4 weeks. Caution: umeboshi is salty, so if you're on a strict low-sodium diet or have kidney disease, check with your doctor first. Otherwise, the small amount used is generally safe and beneficial, and that's just the beginning. The next one works on a completely different mechanism. Number 3. Miso soup with seaweed. Miso soup is perhaps the most iconic Japanese breakfast drink, and for good reason. It's warm, savory, deeply nourishing, and loaded with gut-healing compounds that are particularly beneficial after 60. Here's the mechanism. Miso is a fermented paste made from soybeans, rice or barley, salt, and koji mold. The fermentation process creates a rich ecosystem of probiotics, live beneficial bacteria like lactobacillus and bifidobacterium that colonize your gut and support immune function, digestion, and even mood regulation through the gut-brain axis. After 60, your microbiome diversity naturally declines, and daily probiotics from fermented foods can help restore balance. Miso is also rich in enzymes that aid digestion, particularly protease and amylase, which help break down proteins and carbohydrates. This is critical for seniors with reduced enzyme production. The fermentation process also reduces anti-nutrients in soybeans, making minerals like zinc, iron, and calcium more bioavailable. Adding seaweed, such as wakame or kombu, boosts the benefits even further. Seaweed is one of the richest natural sources of iodine, which supports thyroid function. After 60, subclinical hypothyroidism becomes more common, contributing to fatigue, weight gain, and sluggish digestion. Seaweed also contains alginates, which have been shown to bind toxins and heavy metals in the gut, supporting gentle detoxification. Miso soup is also low in calories, but high in umami, the savory taste that signals satiety to your brain. This helps curb cravings and prevents overeating later in the day. The warm liquid soothes the stomach lining, improves circulation to the digestive organs, and prepares your gut for nutrient absorption. Take Hiroshi, 76, who had chronic constipation and low energy for years. His Western-trained doctor prescribed fiber supplements, which made his bloating worse. When he started drinking a small bowl of miso soup with wakame every morning, his bowel movements normalized within 10 days. His energy improved, and he felt mentally sharper. After 6 weeks, his doctor noted his inflammatory markers had decreased. Here's how to use it. Purchase organic miso paste. White or yellow miso is milder and better for daily use than red miso. Each morning, heat 8 to 10 ounces of water to just below boiling, about 160 to 170 degrees. Do not boil miso directly, as high heat kills the beneficial probiotics. Add 1 tablespoon of miso paste. Stir until dissolved, then add a small handful of dried wakame seaweed. You can also add tofu cubes, green onions, or mushrooms for extra nutrition. Sip slowly, ideally 20 to 30 minutes before your main breakfast. You should notice improved digestion, regular bowel movements, and reduced bloating within 1 week. Many people also report better sleep and mood within 2 to 3 weeks, likely due to the gut-brain connection. Caution: miso is salty, so if you have high blood pressure or kidney disease, use low-sodium miso and limit to half a tablespoon per day. If you have soy allergies, skip this. If you take thyroid medication, talk to your doctor about iodine intake from seaweed. If that one's easy to add, wait until you see how simple the next ritual is. Number 2. Bancha, roasted green tea. Green tea is well known for its health benefits, but regular green tea can be too stimulating for some seniors, especially on an empty stomach. That's where bancha comes in. Bancha is a roasted Japanese green tea made from mature tea leaves and stems, and it's the preferred morning tea for elderly Japanese people. Here's why it works. Bancha is very low in caffeine, about 10 milliliters per cup compared to 70 to 100 milliliters in coffee. This means you get a gentle mental lift without the jitters, cortisol spike, or stomach irritation that coffee causes. The roasting process also reduces the tannins, making bancha less astringent and much easier on sensitive stomachs. Bancha contains catechins, particularly EGCG, a powerful antioxidant that has been shown to reduce inflammation, support cardiovascular health, and may even protect against cognitive decline. Studies suggest that regular green tea consumption is associated with lower rates of dementia and Alzheimer's disease in elderly populations. The warm liquid also stimulates gentle peristalsis, the wave-like muscle contractions that move food through your digestive tract, which naturally slows with age. Bancha also has a unique alkalizing effect. Despite being slightly acidic when brewed, it becomes alkaline once metabolized, helping to balance your body's pH and reduce systemic inflammation. This is particularly beneficial for seniors dealing with chronic low-grade inflammation, which underlies many age-related diseases. There's also a hydration benefit. Many seniors are chronically underhydrated, which worsens constipation, kidney function, and cognitive clarity. Drinking warm bancha first thing in the morning rehydrates your body after sleep and primes your digestive system. Consider Sachiko, 73, who had been drinking black coffee every morning and suffering from anxiety, insomnia, and digestive upset. Her doctor suggested it might be the caffeine, but she couldn't imagine mornings without a hot drink. She switched to bancha and noticed within 3 days that her stomach felt calmer. Within 2 weeks, her sleep improved dramatically, and her anxiety lessened. After a month, her digestion was the best it had been in years. Here's how to use it. Purchase bancha tea, also called hojicha, from a Japanese tea shop or online. Use about 1 tablespoon of loose tea or 1 tea bag per 8 ounces of water. Heat water to about 175 to 185 degrees, not boiling. Steep for 2 to 3 minutes. Drink it plain, slowly, on an empty stomach upon waking. You can drink 1 to 3 cups per day without issue. Start with 1 cup in the morning and see how you feel. Most people notice improved mental clarity, better digestion, and more stable energy within 1 week. Caution: bancha is extremely safe, but if you take blood thinners, talk to your doctor, as green tea contains vitamin K. If you're sensitive to any caffeine, start with half a cup. This next habit surprises most people, not because it's exotic, but because it's hiding in plain sight. Bone broth, dashi or chicken bone broth. Bone broth might sound trendy, but it's actually one of the oldest healing foods in nearly every traditional culture. In Japan, dashi, a light broth made from kombu seaweed and bonito flakes, is the foundation of most meals. In the West, chicken or beef bone broth has been used for centuries to heal the sick, and after 60, bone broth may be the single most gut-healing drink you can add to your morning routine. Here's the mechanism. Bone broth is rich in collagen and gelatin, proteins that break down into amino acids like glycine, proline, and glutamine. These amino acids are the building blocks of your gut lining. After 60, your gut barrier naturally becomes more permeable. That leaky gut we mentioned earlier. Glutamine, in particular, has been shown to repair and strengthen the intestinal wall, reducing inflammation and improving nutrient absorption. Bone broth also contains glucosamine and chondroitin, compounds that support joint health. Many seniors notice reduced joint pain after drinking bone broth regularly. The minerals in bone broth, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, are in highly absorbable forms, supporting bone density and muscle function. The warm liquid itself has a soothing effect on the stomach lining, reducing irritation and inflammation. For seniors with conditions like gastritis, acid reflux, or irritable bowel syndrome, bone broth can provide immediate comfort and long-term healing. There's also an immune benefit. About 70% of your immune system resides in your gut. By healing the gut lining and supporting beneficial bacteria, bone broth indirectly strengthens immunity, critical for older adults who are more susceptible to infections. Meet Thomas, 80, who had been struggling with chronic diarrhea, weight loss, and fatigue for over a year. His doctors ran tests but found nothing definitive. A functional medicine practitioner suggested he try bone broth every morning. Within 2 weeks, his bowel movements normalized. Within 6 weeks, he gained back 7 pounds, his energy returned, and he felt stronger than he had in years. His doctor was amazed. Here's how to use it. If you want traditional Japanese dashi, simmer kombu seaweed in water for 10 minutes. Remove it, add bonito flakes, simmer for another minute, then strain. Drink 6 to 8 ounces warm, first thing in the morning. For chicken or beef bone broth, you can make it yourself by simmering bones with a splash of vinegar for 12 to 24 hours, or purchase high-quality organic bone broth from a store. Look for brands with minimal ingredients and no added sugars. Heat 8 to 10 ounces of bone broth to a comfortable drinking temperature. Add a pinch of sea salt if desired. Drink it slowly, 20 to 30 minutes before eating solid food. Most people notice reduced bloating and improved digestion within 3 to 5 days. Joint pain often improves within 2 to 3 weeks. Skin and hair may look healthier within 4 to 6 weeks due to the collagen content. Caution: bone broth is very safe, but if you have histamine intolerance, start slowly as bone broth can be high in histamines. If you have gout or high uric acid, limit to small amounts and monitor symptoms. Now that you know what to avoid and what to add, let's put it into action with a simple, step-by-step 7-day plan. This isn't about perfection. It's about progress and listening to your body. Day 1 to 2, eliminate and replace. Start by eliminating one harmful morning drink. Choose whichever one you currently consume most. If you drink coffee on an empty stomach, delay it until after breakfast. If you drink orange juice, replace it with warm lemon water. If you drink diet soda, switch to plain water or herbal tea on the morning of day 1. Begin with 8 ounces of warm water with half an umeboshi plum or a quarter teaspoon of umeboshi paste. Sip it slowly over 10 to 15 minutes. Wait 20 minutes, then eat a light breakfast, oatmeal with fruit, eggs with vegetables, or rice porridge. Hydrate throughout the day with plain water. Aim for 6 to 8 glasses. Track how you feel: energy levels, bloating, bowel movements, mood. Day 3 to 4. Add miso soup. By day 3, your system should be adjusting. Now add miso soup. Heat 8 ounces of water. Dissolve 1 tablespoon of miso paste. Add wakame seaweed. Drink this instead of the umeboshi water, or alternate days. If you experience any bloating, reduce the miso to half a tablespoon and increase slowly. Continue avoiding harmful drinks. If you're a coffee lover, you can have 1 cup mid-morning after eating a substantial breakfast. Notice if your bloating decreases and your digestion improves. Day 5 to 6. Add bancha tea. By day 5, add bancha tea. Brew 1 cup in the morning using water at 175 to 185 degrees Celsius. Drink it plain, slowly. You can have miso soup afterward if desired, or alternate, bancha one morning, miso the next. If you feel any digestive discomfort, it may be too much liquid at once. Reduce the volume to 6 ounces of each drink. Continue tracking your symptoms. Most people by day 5 notice significant improvements: less bloating, more regular bowel movements, better energy, and clearer thinking. Day 7. Add bone broth and personalize. On day 7, try bone broth. Heat 8 ounces of high-quality bone broth, or dashi, add a pinch of sea salt, and drink it slowly on an empty stomach. Wait 20 to 30 minutes before eating. At this point, you've tried all 4 healing drinks. Now personalize your routine. Choose the 1 or 2 that you enjoyed most and that made you feel best. Many people settle into a pattern like this: Monday, Wednesday, Friday, bone broth; Tuesday, Thursday, miso soup; Saturday, Sunday, bancha tea with umeboshi water. Drink at least 250 to 500 ml, about 8 to 16 ounces of plain water alongside these morning drinks throughout the morning. Hydration is critical for gut health, especially with fermented and mineral-rich drinks. If you experience bloating, reduce the dose by half and increase slowly over 2 weeks. Bloating often means your gut flora is shifting. This is normal and temporary. If you experience constipation, increase water intake by 2 glasses per day and add more cooked vegetables to meals. Consider adding a tablespoon of ground flaxseed to your breakfast. If you feel too full or nauseous, reduce the liquid volume to 4 to 6 ounces and sip more slowly. Never force it. If you have loose stools, reduce the miso and umeboshi as they can be cleansing. Focus on bone broth and bancha instead. What to expect? Week 1. Reduced bloating, more stable energy, less acid reflux. Week 2. Improved bowel regularity, better sleep, clearer skin. Week 3 to 4. reduced joint pain, mental clarity, weight stabilization. Week 6 to 8. Noticeable improvements in overall vitality, digestion feels effortless, and you may notice reduced cravings for sugar and processed foods. Today, you learned about 4 common morning drinks that could be harming your gut after 60. Black coffee on an empty stomach, store-bought orange juice, cold-pressed green juice, and diet soda. You also discovered 4 traditional Japanese morning drinks that can heal your gut, reduce inflammation, and support healthy aging. Warm water with umeboshi, miso soup with seaweed, bancha roasted green tea, and bone broth or dashi. The goal isn't to fear food or drink. It's to understand how your body changes after 60 and to adapt wisely. Small swaps can bring profound relief. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. Just change your morning ritual and let your body do the rest. Remember, your gut is the foundation of your health. Heal it, and everything else improves. Energy, mood, immunity, even your skin and joints. You deserve to feel vital and strong, and it starts with what you drink first thing in the morning. Which of these 4 Japanese morning drinks will you try first? Umeboshi water, miso soup, bancha tea, or bone broth? Drop a comment below and let me know. And here's a challenge. Come back in 3 days and reply to your own comment with 1 word describing what improved. Bloating, energy, sleep, or joints. If you found this helpful, please subscribe. Next week, I'll be covering the hidden gut disruptors hiding in so-called healthy senior snacks. And the traditional swaps that actually work. I'll see you then.